Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the latest entry in the Resident Evil franchise. But before we get into all that, make sure you like and subscribe. It really does help me grow the channel. But without further ado, let's go. 3 years following the events at the Baker house, Chris had Ethan and Mia move homes, where they had a daughter, Rosemary. After putting her to bed, Ethan went downstairs to have dinner with Mia, when suddenly Chris barges in with his BSAA buddies and fires lead into Mia before kidnapping both Rose and Ethan. Although that's when the vehicle Ethan is in crashes, so he trudges through the snow into a cabin where he and a stranger get attacked by a monster. Luckily, Ethan is able to take him down thanks to the gun the stranger lent him, before hearing someone on a radio calling for survivors to go to Louisa's house near the fields. So Ethan goes further into the village where he meets an old lady. She ambiguously explained that Mother Miranda took Rose to her village, so Ethan looks to search for his daughter by going to the castle in sight. On his way, Ethan meets an injured father and his daughter, who take him to Louisa's house. However, the father succumbs to his wounds and becomes a lichen before ravaging the group and setting the place alight. Although Ethan was able to save Elena from her father, he couldn't stop her from falling into the blaze. Ethan then proceeded towards the castle, where he got captured by some magical dude who calls himself Heisenberg, who drags him to Mother Miranda. There, Mother Miranda stands, surrounded by the tall vampiric Lady Dimitrescu, the dollmaker Donna Beneviento, the creepy Salvatore Moro, and Heisenberg, who is the one that sets all the lichens on Ethan. Luckily, Ethan outruns all of them and makes his way outside, where the merchant, Duke, introduces himself and tells him to continue to the castle to find his daughter. As he enters though, he gets captured by Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters, and hung up by sharp blades through his hands. Once they left the room, he was able to wriggle himself free to look for Lady Dimitrescu's private chambers, as that's where he assumes Rose is. But that's when he gets caught by one of the sisters, who, he discovered, is harmed by cold air. So Ethan cleverly shoots the windows and lets the cool breeze turn her into stone, before spotting Lady Dimitrescu going upstairs. Therefore, to be safe, Ethan watches her from the balcony where she leaves her key. So Ethan stealthily steals it before getting caught and slammed into the ground by Lady Dimitrescu and told that Rose isn't even in the castle. Although I can't say I wouldn't want to be dominated by her. The vampire, not the kid. Anyway, while trying to escape, Lady Dimitrescu slices off Ethan's hand before he runs circles around her, looking for the perfect opportunity to stick his hand back together and continue as if nothing happened. Without even having time to breathe from that encounter, Ethan gets attacked by the second sister, who he dispatches using cold air from the ceiling. After getting chased some more by Lady Dimitrescu while trying to find a way out, he encounters and kills the final daughter. Ethan locates a special looking dagger in a coffin and stabs Lady Dimitrescu with it, forcing her to reveal her true, disgusting form. After unloading a load of rounds into her, Ethan takes her down by keeping her exposed to the cold for so long. Then, he obtains a cylindrical container with gunk inside, before leaving the castle and encountering the old lady again, who reveals an umbrella logo and explains cryptically that the 4 bloodlines will get him to what he seeks, before allowing Ethan to take the winged key. Then good old Duke pops up again and translates the cryptic message. Essentially, the box Ethan took, full of gunk, actually has Rose's head, and there are 3 more parts of his daughter's body he can retrieve from the remaining lords. Then Duke gives Ethan the location of a winged key part that allows him to access another section of the village when combined with the winged key. The newly unlocked path leads him to Beneviento Estate, where he finds a Mia doll, which he disassembles to help him make his way to the upstairs of the house, where he gets attacked by Donna's dolls. So he moves around the house, tracking Donna to put a knife through her head. Because of this, he was able to obtain another winged key part, as well as a flask with Rose's legs in it. The winged key now leads Ethan to the underground mine tunnels, where he swiftly takes the arms flask from Moro, who tries to seal his exit, but luckily Ethan escapes and runs into Chris, where he confronts him about killing Mia, and overhears a conversation Chris is having with another BSAA soldier that he knows about Mother Miranda. That's when they get ambushed by Moro. Then Ethan gets the power back on so he can escape the water using the dam, since the water is Moro's optimum environment. Although Moro doesn't let him, but it's okay because it's much easier to take him down outside of the water, as our guy Ethan proves. Following the pathway leads Ethan into a room where he finds the final part of the winged key and gets contacted by Heisenberg, of all people, telling him to come and meet him at the stronghold. So he does as he's told, but has to massacre hordes of lichens to reach another room with the final flask. Another message in that same room suggests that Heisenberg wants to help Ethan out, and he actually tells him to place the flasks on the altar to light up the path to reach him. Ethan makes it to Heisenberg, who sits him down and explains to him that Mother Miranda is testing him by getting him to kill the four lords. She's testing whether he can be her new right-hand man. And naturally, Heisenberg doesn't want to be the next to die, so he tells Ethan how powerful Rose is, and that they can save her together, before using her to grind Miranda into paste. After Ethan refuses to use his daughter that way, Heisenberg switches and pushes him down a hole, where he's being stalked by some helicopter freak. Ethan blows him up before running into Chris again, who says that he owes him an explanation. Turns out, Miranda the bioweapon took the appearance of Mia, and that's who he shot, not Mia. He also reveals that everything here, all of the mold, including the bakers, are due to Miranda's experiments. After promising he'll help Ethan get his daughter back, he gives him a tank so he can be on his merry way. Once he's topside, Ethan attempts to take Heisenberg down with the tank, although it goes south. Eventually, when being sucked into some sort of vacuum, he manages to blow him up. That's when Miranda appears, taking the appearance of Mia yet again, revealing that her true intention was to use Rose as the successor to Evelyn regarding her power over the mold. That's when Miranda fully removes Ethan's heart, murdering him, and explains that she's using the Megamycete as a way for her child to be reborn, with Rose as the vessel, revealing her true purpose. After discovering Ethan's death, Chris charges into the village with the Hound Wolf Squad, a group of rebel BSAA soldiers with Chris as their leader. Meanwhile, Chris witnesses BSAA sending their own soldiers to deal with the Megamycete. Chris deals with hordes and hordes of lichens attacking him so that he can reach the Megamycete, which he sticks an N2 explosive to, ready to blow up when they escape. Then Chris proceeds, looking for both Miranda and Rose. He makes his way into Miranda's lab, where he learns that Oswell Spencer, the founder of the pharmaceutical company Umbrella, was in fact a student of hers, which explains all the Umbrella logos around the village. They wanted to use bioweapons for separate purposes, so they parted ways. Chris also discovers a letter suggesting that Miranda's daughter died prematurely from the Spanish flu, which is what drove her to this insanity. Around the corner, Chris locates the real Mia. She tells him that she was used in Miranda's experiments because she's Rose's flesh and blood, before Chris informs her of Ethan's death. But he promises her, just as he did to Ethan, that he will save Rose. That's when miraculously Ethan wakes up, having visions of Evelyn. He tells her that he has to save Rose, but she responds by revealing that he's already dead. No, not by Miranda. 3 years ago, Jack Baker murdered him and fed him the mold, which explains why he can withstand injuries like having his hand sliced off by Lady Dimitrescu. This also reveals why Miranda wants Rose specifically. She inherited it all from Ethan. Then he comes to his senses and goes back to where he left the flasks with the help of Duke, which helps him find Mother Miranda. The battle over the custody of the child commences, but eventually Ethan comes out on top, finally allowing him to hold Rose in his arms once again. Chris comes by to help him and his daughter, but it was too late. Miranda also finished him in the final battle. He was barely able to walk. Ethan gives Rosemary to Chris before snatching the remote for the bomb and pushing Chris ahead with the Mega Mycete separating them. Ethan says his final farewell to his daughter before going to face the Mega Mycete. Chris gets on a helicopter with Mia, being forced to reveal to her that he lost yet another comrade, Mia's husband, as the entire village explodes, taking Ethan with it. On the helicopter, they unmask a fallen BSAA soldier, revealing that he was in fact a bioweapon. BSAA, who are supposed to be fighting bioterrorism, are using bioweapons, causing Chris to respond by saying that someone's got to pay for this. An after credits scene shows a grown-up Rose visiting and bringing flowers to her father's grave. She in fact talks to him, and she's been telling him of the tests she's got to take. That's when she notices that she's being watched, so she confronts the guy that's watching her. Turns out that even though Chris and the BSAA trust her, they're keeping their eye on her just because of what she's capable of. This also makes it clear that the tests she's been mentioning to her father were for the BSAA, not school. The game concludes with the words, "The father's story is now done," suggesting the next game could in fact have Rose as the protagonist. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, comment your thoughts on the story, and subscribe for more story summaries like this. See ya!